from the heart of SEC country, this is your daily fix of grit, guts, and gridiron glory. Welcome to the Deep South College Football Show.
Owens, here he goes! Georgia retakes the lead!
Breaking down the biggest matchups, the boldest takes, and the deepest rivalries in college football on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
Intercepted! They confused him! Xavier Brown headed the other way! Touchdown Tide!
From Fayetteville to Gainesville, from the Grove to Toomer's Corner, it's SEC football.
Chambers delivers! Touchdown!
Now, here's your award-winning host, Wyatt Fulton.
Welcome into another edition of the Deep South College Football Show right here on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC, your home for Alabama Crimson Tide sports. Got a fun show for you guys today here. Got the main man, Whitman Clark, hanging out back in the Tide 100.9 studios here. Whitman, how you doing today, brother?
I'm hot, and Wyatt, I need a haircut, but I got canes on my way over here. Not the new one. Not the new one. The one that allows me to use my dining dollars at because we po.
Does the new one not allow dining dollars to be used?
Not to my knowledge. I don't know. I also don't want to watch a protest of a woman cosplaying as a dead chicken upside down.
Yeah, that was odd.
Chase made a good point a second ago while we were cleaning up Christian's show, getting ready for yours. Go do that somewhere else, man. The people in Alabama, they just want their chicken. If that's not evident enough from all 9 other chicken spots within 2 miles of the new Canes that they could have protested at when that opened. But no, they just had to do it at this one.
Apparently. But no, not a sponsor. Could be. Raising Cane's is pretty good, though.
That's not all I'm mad about today, by the way.
Yeah, you got – so, okay. Let's be cautious how we do this because we're going to go over some of the starting quarterback announcements in the SEC. We officially know every starting quarterback in the SEC, at least for week 1. Vanderbilt announced earlier today that Blaise Berlowitz is going to be named the starting quarterback to start the season, but Jerry Curtis is also going to play in that week 1 game, which means that I did not go perfect on SEC quarterback competitions. I thought
they got week 1?
That's a great question. I don't have their schedule pulled up in front of me.
Because if they're pretty much guaranteeing 2 quarterbacks play, it's a Western Kentucky, it's an Austin P, it's a Middle Tennessee State. So okay, I
got a feeling because their schedule sets up really well early. Austin P, Delaware, and NC State. Although don't sleep on CJ Bailey at NC State. Their schedule sets up pretty early to play both these quarterbacks before you open conference play here, where hopefully, you don't want to be making QB changes here in the middle of the season, but if they need to make a QB change, then they feel confident enough in the other guy. But we're going to talk quarterback decisions today, what it means for each team, what it means for each program here. Obviously talked a little bit about Keelan Russell yesterday with Alabama. We'll talk about that again today, as well as Faison Brandon at Tennessee, KJ Jackson at Arkansas, Aaron Philo at Florida, and now Blaise Berlowitz at Vanderbilt. But we're going to go on some rants today regarding NFL players coming back to college football. It is stupid, and it's just one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. There are multiple programs that are doing this. Whitman, I have a feeling you're going to target one specific program, but there are multiple that are doing this right here. The one that I've got a feeling you're going to target is a 3-letter institution, but let me go ahead and preface this. I am not blaming the coaches whatsoever for playing within the rules right now. As of right now, if you are a UDFA, somebody who didn't get picked up in the NFL draft, and you think you're probably not going to make a roster, and you are a class of 2022 recruit, you are allowed, I guess, to come back and try to play another season of college football, or at least you're given the opportunity to, with the 5-for-5 ruling by the NCAA, and then another temporary restraining order against the NCAA. So I'm not blaming the coaches whatsoever, because take Daquan Wright, for example. And I got a feeling, Whitman, that's going to be one of your examples too here. But take Daquan Wright, for example, tight end for Ole Miss for a few seasons, ended up going to the Cleveland Browns and felt like he wasn't going to make the roster. So he asked for a release from the Browns got it. And if he clears waivers, he's going to go transfer and play at LSU for Lane Kiffin, who was the head coach at Ole Miss last season. So I am not blaming Lane Kiffin for this. Although he is the biggest target because he's been in the media scrutiny ever since early October when Billy Napier got fired, mid-October when Brian Kelly got fired. He has been just nothing but in the face of everybody since those two jobs came open. So he's an easy target because he's a polarizing figure, and he is the most, I would say he's probably on a consensus level, the biggest villain of college football right now. Texas Tech tried it with Brendan Sorsby, #daily Brendan Sorsby mentioned, but I think Lane Kiffin right now is the biggest target in college football. So it's easy to attack LSU and Lane Kiffin for this, but it's not just them. And I'm not blaming Lane Kiffin whatsoever for playing within the current confines of the rules. With that being said, there's a chance those rules are changing within the next 24 hours.
And I hope they do, but you're exactly right. These coaches, especially these 16, but pretty much every college football coach in America, but more specifically the Power 4 head coaches in America, have one of the most stressful jobs in terms of job security, public scrutiny that you could have in America. These guys, I was listening to Josh Pate yesterday. He made a great point. You could be fresh off the back of a 10-11 win season, multiple 10-11 win seasons. I don't think you're at any point further than 2 years away from being unemployed.
Nope.
Depending on how bad it goes, no matter what you've done in the past.
The best
James Franklin, perfect case.
That's exactly what I was going to say. The best example is James Franklin, who the season prior was in the semifinal of the college football playoff.
Was 2 minutes away from a national championship appearance.
Yes.
If it weren't for Jeremiah Love and his refusal to touch the dirt.
Yep. And within 5 weeks of the next season, you're out, big dog. You're gone.
Got a go bag.
You're fired. So I agree with that point. You are, as a college football head coach, you are more than likely no further away than 2 years from being fired. At worst. At worst. But everybody's operating in quote unquote a 2 year time window. There are certain coaches that I would say, okay, maybe they aren't, but they're outliers. When you've got 138 FBS programs,
they're few and far between. Yes.
The Kirby Smarts of the world are the outliers. The Kurt Signettis of the world are outliers. So yes, I agree.
And let it not fall by the wayside. They aren't as far away as some people think. Dabo Swinney is coming off of a pair of national championships and a streak of like 9 consecutive ACC championships. And people are wondering, after what, he won 9 games in 2024?
Made the playoff, yeah. Won 9
games
the playoff. In the ACC and made the playoff in 2024.
One bad year, and now people are wondering, okay, is this it? Nobody's safe.
No.
So, coaches.
Kalen DeBoer won 11-4. He won 11 football games. And we still field daily phone calls of people saying he's not the right guy. Alabama needs to fire him.
So for Kiffin to go the extra measure to take that competitive edge into his favor, you can't get mad at him for it. You can get mad at the circumstance, which is what I, along with pretty much the rest of America, am. But, and it's rare that I do this because a lot of times the players in this situation aren't always exactly the most educated on the topics, or they're not always given 100% of the information. But a guy, drafted or not, that leaves college, declares for the draft, decides, I have hung up my campus cleats. You go to the NFL, you record 2 sacks in a game, or you catch a couple passes in a preseason game. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you're on the chopping block or not. A sentence you use to describe what the right fellow from LSU, or that's going to LSU, did, asked for a release from an NFL team. I wish that guy could look through a time window, find 7-year-old little baby tight end, and go, hey, you're going to make it. You're going to play in the SEC, and you're going to get a shot in the NFL, which is what guys dream of. They would kill for a shot in the NFL. And less than 6 months after getting that shot, you're going to ask to go backwards.
Yep.
To better favor yourself. Whatever happened to competition? We always talk about these are the best players in the world. Well, what makes them the best players in the world is the fact that another one of the best players in the world is right behind you, begging and clawing for a chance to take your spot. And you're going to give it up? You're going to give it up and go back to college? You're going to do that? And here's what I mentioned to you yesterday, Wyatt. It's not so much just the competitiveness of this whole thing, the lack of competitiveness thereof. Certain guy that I sent to you on Instagram yesterday, Xavier Harris.
Saw that one, yeah.
Ole Miss defensive lineman last year. I believe he was all conference. Picked up by the Saints after the college football season ended. Probably wasn't going to make the 53-man. Well, Lane Kiffin was at Ole Miss last year. He's now at LSU. So what does Xavier Harris do? He goes to LSU. Let it be known, this is the same guy that when Lane Kiffin was putting on the theatrics of walking out of Oxford in the middle of being a top 10 team in the country.
Yeah. Top 4.
This is from On3 in January of 2026. So the feelings were still freshly hurt in Mississippi.
Yes.
This is from On3. Ole Miss defensive lineman Xavier Harris took a shot at Lane Kiffin after beating Georgia in the college football playoff. That's what Kiffin tried to do. He tried to be a damn announcer, trying to be a troll. We were going to troll him. We got something for him. He's just trying to steal our shine. And now you're going to go lay your life and body on the line for that same troll, that same stealer of shine every Saturday because you don't think you can crack it in the National Football League.
Dude, what in the hell are we doing?
Little do I say this on air. I didn't even go this route about Diego Pavia. Shame on Xavier Harris. Shame on any player that has put on a National Football League helmet in the last 2 months and is now trying to go backwards in their career trajectory back to college football because of a paycheck. What?
This is the dumbest thing ever.
It's the NFL.
If you sign a professional contract, and I know like somebody's going to clip this and say, oh, ironic, Tuscaloosa radio station saying this. I didn't agree with Charles Bediako in the first place.
We didn't want that happening.
We didn't want that to happen. We just had to cover it because we are a media entity. If you sign a professional contract, get the hell out of college sports. Whether that be NFL, whether that be NBA, whether it be a two-way deal in the NBA, if you go play Euroball, no, you're done. Get out of college athletics. If you are signing a professional contract, get out. I'm done. You're done. Get out. Charles Bediako, RJ Luis, Daquan Wright, Tommy Castellanos, Diego Pavia, all of them. Do not try to come back to collegiate athletics.
We appreciate you for what you did.
You were a legend.
Go be somewhere else.
Diego Pavia, you were a legend for what you did at Vanderbilt. Daquan Wright, you helped orchestrate a playoff run for Ole Miss. Granted, you were a tight end, but you helped orchestrate that playoff run. Ole Miss was one of the last 4 teams standing in the sport last season. You were a part of that. Congratulations. Your name has been your name will be immortalized in Ole Miss history
Not anymore.
For being a part of that run. Now, you show up to an Ole Miss game in a Daquan Wright jersey. I don't know that you're going to leave in that jersey. That jersey is going to be in pieces. That jersey is going to be ashes in somebody's tailgate before the LSU game. Somebody's going to cut that up and use it as fire starter prior to their tailgate for the LSU game.
Which, because at that point, that's all it's good for. Unless his grandma's got a jersey, then by all means, she can frame it and do whatever she wants with it. The logic behind it, though, if you dumb it down, it almost makes sense because it was, the 5 to play 5 rule just came out.
Yes.
And the ruling did not come out until after the class of 2022 had to make their decision. So it was viewed as unfair. And everybody was just kind of in agreement that the class of 2022, if they weren't already going to be a professional athlete or they were on the fence, it was just kind of going to be an unfortunate situation where their luck ran out at a bad time. I like to think of my parents as pretty smart people. We're getting to the point where they wasted countless of hours telling me life's not fair.
Yeah.
They said it for no reason because now all of a sudden everything's fair. I mean,
It literally, like when I was young, right? And this is just normal kids type situations, right? When you're young, right? Your younger sibling gets, like I was the oldest child, right? And so I got a lot of newer stuff, right? Because I was the first kid. Well, my little brother got all my hand-me-downs, right? For a while. Then I, grew much bigger than he did. That'd be horizontally. But so he got all my hand-me-downs. And he goes to my parents and says, "Hey, why is Wyatt getting all the cool stuff? Why is he getting all the new stuff?" And you know what the parents said? He literally goes, "That's not fair. He gets all the cool new stuff, and I get his old crap." You know what they said? You know what they told him?
suck it
Life's
up.
not fair. Deal with it. Suck it up.
Suck it
Life's
up.
not fair.
You
He
want
got a new like when I turned 16, I got my dad's old Jeep, and the Jeep treated me well up until I ended up 20 feet up a tree in the thing. But
oops.
it was a 2007 Jeep that I was on a 4-inch lift kit. Like I knew I was going to end up in a tree at some point. But I got an old Jeep, right? My brother got a newer vehicle, Toyota 4Runner. And so I go to mom and dad and I go, "Hey, look, what the hell? Why does he get the new car? Like he should get dad's old truck and dad should go get a new car. This isn't fair." And you know what they told me? Number one, they said you shouldn't have ran your car up a tree because he was going to get that. And number two, they said, "Hey, guess what? Life's not fair.
No.
Sometimes
Never has been, never will be.
Sometimes other people are going to get things that you feel like you deserve, that they worked hard for, or they were just presented an opportunity you weren't. And guess what? Sucks to suck.
You know what Xavier Harris should have been? Good enough to be drafted within the 7 rounds allotted for players to get picked. Or if you knew the NFL wasn't going to work out, go figure out how to be good at selling insurance or putting out fires or selling tires or digging ditches. I don't know. I mean, the world needs the world needs ditch diggers too. I mean, not everybody gets a starting position in the NFL handed to them.
No, not everybody does.
Countless players have gone from not countless. You can definitely put a number on it. Players have gone from undrafted to the Hall of Fame. I mean, he wasn't undrafted, but he as hell didn't come from Ole Miss. Tony Romo made a heck of a career out of being undrafted. He had to deal with Bill Parcells coming through the league. You
can rattle through the names. Tony Romo did it. Tom Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. Julian Edelman was a 7th-round draft pick, right? What was it? Richard Sherman, one of the best cornerbacks ever in the NFL, was not a highly graded draft prospect and was not a day 1 or 2 pick. Adam Thielen has built a phenomenal NFL career.
Dak Prescott.
Adam Thielen didn't even get a Division I coach or Division I playing opportunity. This dude played lower than the lowest tier of ball and still made his way to the NFL.
Needless to say,
was not a starter at Ole Miss in the SEC.
If you decide to leave, stay gone. Stay left.
Go.
There are 360 degrees on a compass for you to go. There are 359 other that you can pick that is not back towards this university. Go sell a car. Go play in the Canadian Football League. Go play arena football like guys have done for 50 years when they couldn't crack it in the NFL.
Yeah.
I hear Birmingham's looking to go through a rebuild right now. Throw your name in the hat.
Yeah, Birmingham's looking for a team, man. There you go. Memphis
Go
Showboats.
Put your hand in the dirt over there.
Memphis Showboats, anybody?
There are options.
The Ottawa, what are they? The Rough Riders? Ottawa Rough Riders.
Go ruin the sanctity of the CFL or the Arena Football League. Don't touch our college football. That's all we've got left. Gas is expensive. You can't buy milk. A round of golf in somebody's backyard is $80. All we've got left is college football that, hell, at that point, we pay too much to stream.
And that's an accurate statement.
Just give us college football.
That is a very, very accurate statement. But we blew through that first break. So let's go ahead and take our time out here. We'll come back to a lightning segment talk about what the Big Ten did earlier today and the fact that the SEC is currently meeting on this, and then we'll dive into SEC starting quarterbacks right here on the Deep South College Football Show on Side 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. Welcome back into the Deep South College Football Show right here on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. Hey, let me tell you about Tall Pines Golf Club here. It's a family-friendly environment, nice laid-back place here, and they've got incredible golf there. So be sure to go check them out. Tall Pines Golf Course here, or Golf Club, excuse me. Whitman, we can't say enough good things about Tall Pines here.
No, I've had the pleasure of working there for, call it almost 2 months now. The people are great. I've got a bunch of guys in there that are 30, 40 years older than me that every time I walk in, I mean, it's like they've seen a best friend walk through the door. The environment there is second to none, unlike any golf course I've ever played at, been a member of, worked at, anything of the sort. I mean, you know, you're not going to play Pebble Beach when you get out there, but that's not what you're there for. You're there for the neighborhood feel, the friendly, you know, the friendly hello through the door. Everybody that works there, from the ownership down to the bartenders, the people in the pro shop, are top class people.
They've got some incredible amenities here. Unlimited practice on natural turf, driving range, and putting greens. They've got a pro shop with numerous accessories and apparel. Great events and tournaments that they host here. And look, I understand not everybody's a golfer, right? Whitman, you're pretty good at golf, I hear. Haven't played around with you yet, but when you play with me, you're going to see that I am probably the worst golfer that will ever step on any golf course in these United States, or if I get a chance to play internationally on a golf course in the world. That's okay. You don't have to be a good golfer to join Tall Pines here. They've got swimming pool access. They've got pool-only memberships and social memberships for those that still want access to the club. So be sure to go check them out, Tall Pines Golf Course, or give them a call at 205-556-1232, and be sure to let them know that Wyatt and Whitman sent you their way. Looking at what's going on across the state of college football here, it's utterly pitiful. But the Big Ten had a unanimous vote earlier today to basically say no. If you're a former professional athlete, you don't get to come play in the Big Ten. Unanimously voted to prevent former professional athletes or former NFL players from coming back and playing Big Ten football. Now, great for Tony Petitti and the 18. I can't do math. 18. The Big Ten, where there's 18 teams playing. Great on the 18 athletic directors and Commissioner Tony Petitti for doing this here. Greg Sankey, you're up. You going to let this happen?
Balls in your court, boss.
Yeah, balls in your court. And the SEC is meeting this afternoon over in Birmingham. I think Mountain Brook specifically is where they're meeting. But I think they're going to hold a vote, and it seems like they're going to vote in the same way, which I'm really interested how this is going to shake out, because these players are getting temporary restraining orders against the NCAA. And this is a question I posed on Twitter here as well on a report from Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports. Okay, the restraining order allows them to play NCAA football. In the event that the SEC does pass this rule, or the Big Ten, for example, because they already have passed this rule, the Big Ten is an entity of the NCAA. Each school is an NCAA institution. Is this rule nothing but optics at this point? If you are an NCAA institution and you have a restraining order against the NCAA to play college football, why, do conferences even have any basis to stop this? Do teams have any basis to stop this? Or is it simply just, we're doing this for optics, but they went and got a restraining order, we can't stop them?
I do think, though, the optics, if all 16 or 18 in the Big Ten, if all 18 athletic directors, presidents, chancellors, whoever agrees to it, I don't know if it sets like a clear you can or cannot rule. However, if I'm one of these guys that's like just going to miss out on making the Vikings roster and I'm looking for a place to go back to school, I'm not sniffing the Big Ten because of this. I think this is one of those situations. I do think that saying that will be enough. It will deter. I'm hoping as well that it will just deter people from even wanting to try it. Like, it's just, they realize what kind of a headache it's going to be, what it's going to do to their name. I mean, if Texas Tech and Brendan Sorsby could go back to April and say, look, we could either fight this all again and let everything come our way that already came our way, or we could just split now and come to the same destination just a lot of miles quicker. Texas Tech's probably just going to cut them in April.
Yeah, bite
They're
the
going to
bullet
pay him
and
what
move
they
on.
need to pay him, and they're going to cut him in April. So if I had to assume this Big Ten ruling will probably trickle down throughout college football, hopefully the SEC next, followed by the Big 12 and the ACC. And I would have to assume that this does more than most in spelling the end for NFL players in college football. But Wyatt, can I get 20 seconds real quick? Maybe to break some news to those that don't know. I mentioned SEC. Tennessee plays in the SEC. Eastern Tennessee does hail out of the state of Tennessee, and East Tennessee lost a giant a little while ago.
Yeah, they did.
Dolly Parton has passed away at the age of 80, and that is about as heartbreaking of a thing as I could say on the radio.
Yeah, that is. I mean, that's a Tennessee legend. That's a country music legend. That's an icon in the United States. So, thoughts and prayers to the family. I know that this is not necessarily something that, I don't know if it was necessarily too shocking, just given her age, but still, when you lose an icon like this, it is absolutely awful. So thoughts and prayers are with the family in this situation here. We'll take our next time out here on the Deep South College Football Show, and let's just get back to talking some ball, man. And we're going to do that talking about some of these SEC quarterbacks that were named starters at their teams next, right here on the Deep South College Football Show. Welcome back to the Deep South College Football Show. We're talking starting quarterback announcements here in the SEC, and we start on Rocky Top here as Faison Brandon was named the starting quarterback for the Tennessee Volunteers here. And Whitman, I'm really excited to see what Faison brings to the table here for Tennessee, because George McIntyre is a good quarterback, yes, and he had a little bit of a head start in spring practice and summer workouts and things like that when you look at being in this system a season ago. But the athleticism and what Faison Brandon brings to the table, not only with his arm, because he's got a cannon of an arm, but with his legs as well, is something that I think Tennessee can really, really rely on this season, especially when you look at, this is an offense that is very QB friendly, right? Josh Heupel's offense is very quarterback friendly, and he makes life almost as easy as possible on his starting QBs. And so I think that opened the door maybe for a guy like Faison Brandon to win the starting job here. And then you look at it, and he's won the competition at this point, former 5-star quarterback there. But even still, I think it's not just the fact that, Heupel's offense does make it a little bit easier for Tennessee or for a freshman to play in that offense, but I think he just brings an extra dynamic element with his legs there. We had mentioned it with Alabama and Keelan Russell a couple of days ago that, as good as Austin Mack can be in the pocket, if you have to get outside of the pocket and go make plays in space or create space to go make a play, I think, Faison Brandon does that a little bit better than what George McIntyre did. And even though McIntyre, might still have a little bit better of an understanding around that Tennessee offense, what Faison Brandon brings to the table is something that I think is too good to pass up.
No, and all I've seen right now is pictures of the kid. Tennessee posted their whole spring ball weight room transformation, like a lot of schools do. Man, for anybody that hadn't seen him, Faison Brandon is a big dude. Like Keelan Russell, we do the whole Bryce Young thing, but like 6'3". Faison Brandon's like every bit of in between 6'3" and 6'5". Keelan Russell's kind of thin. This dude is built, man.
Yeah.
This guy, he was that one quarterback in high school that could have easily gone over and been an all-state linebacker if he wanted to. Yeah. His arm was just too good for coach to put him on that side.
Yeah, I mean, Faison Brandon's going to be a freight train for Tennessee this season. And look, Tennessee, they've got a tougher schedule. You're going to have some ups and downs with the Volunteers this season, right? But you get some of your tougher games at home, right? Auburn's got to go to Neyland Stadium. Texas has got to go to Neyland Stadium. Alabama's going to roll in for the third Saturday in October. By the way, again, color-on-color matchup with Alabama's crimson and Tennessee's orange. Going to be beautiful. Going to be gorgeous. But you get some of your tougher games at home. If you can win a game or two that maybe you weren't supposed to, Tennessee could be a dangerous team this season. But this is not only just a decision for this year, right? Faison Brandon is a true freshman, which means that you've got, assuming, he doesn't go Nico Iamaleava on you and demand more money out of left field, more money that he's not deserved out of left field. Let me phrase it that way. This is somebody that's going to learn and develop in Josh Heupel's offense for 3 straight seasons, for 3 consecutive seasons. And he competed in spring practice, so he's already a leg up. He's already got a leg up against maybe some other guys that, could be starting in 2027, that maybe they were a summer enrollee, or maybe they're a freshman in 2027. He's got a leg up on other guys like that around the SEC. And Tennessee's now been put in a very good spot at quarterback this season and in 2027 and in 2028. Just be willing to deal with maybe a little bit of roller coaster, right? When you've got a freshman quarterback in there taking his first collegiate snaps ever, not just in the situation of like a Keelan Russell or an Aaron Philo or a KJ Jackson, where, yeah, he's played a little bit in mop-up duty and, coming in for injury for some of these guys, but truly a brand new starting quarterback for Tennessee. This guy is not taking a collegiate snap in an actual football game. So deal with the ups and downs. The highs are going to be great. The lows may have to work through them a little bit, but this is a decision that sets Tennessee up really, really nicely for the next 2 years.
And little side note, how lucky has Josh Heupel gotten with his quarterback circumstances the last 2 years in terms of what it does to his job expectations?
Yeah.
Because last year he kind of went in maybe a little behind the eight ball, but everybody in that lovely color orange was supporting their man, going, hey, you made the right choice. Look, we're okay with taking a loss or two this year as long as it means you sticking it to Nico and telling him and every other recruit that tries to steal our money, hey, you're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. So they missed the playoffs to Joey Aguilar, but I don't think people from Tennessee were too mad at that. And now, hey, man, we've got a true freshman quarterback. I mean, the sky's the limit next year and the year after that, but hey, man, give me a break. I'm starting a true freshman. Josh Heupel's gotten a little lucky these past couple of years with the quarterback circumstances in regards to his job expectation.
Kid's going to be a dog. Excited to see what Faison Brandon can do in the SEC. And keep in mind, right, like, yes, these are new starters now, but all these guys have got eligibility remaining here. So, like, next season, right? Well, Sam Levitt's going to be gone. LSU's going to have a new quarterback. Byron Brown's going to be out of Auburn. Gunnar Stockton's going to be gone from Georgia. John Mateer's going to be gone from Oklahoma. Arch Manning's gone from Texas. So even though, yes, Faison Brandon and Keelan Russell and Aaron Philo and some of these guys may not necessarily be the quote-unquote cream of the crop this season, next year, when you've got no Trinidad, no Arch, no Gunnar, no Mateer, no Lenore Sellers, these guys are going to be the ones that are stepping in and saying, all right, now it's our turn to be the premier playmaker in the SEC. And speaking of a premier playmaker in the SEC, that may not be it this year, but it's going to be the guy next year. We go to Tuscaloosa here with Keelan Russell out of Alabama. And we've talked about this guy ad nauseum here at this point. So we're going to keep it kind of brief here because we mentioned him a lot yesterday, but very similar to what we said about Faison Brandon in Tennessee, in that he brings such a dynamic element to the game, and no discredit to Austin Mack, but Keelan Russell, when it comes to the RPO game, when it comes to making plays outside of the pocket, extending plays to get your wide receivers open downfield, or even, a read option, right? Alabama has not had a quote unquote mobile quarterback since Jalen Milroe, who was the king of read options, the king of, quarterback runs. Now you've got a guy who isn't Jalen Milroe like in that aspect, but
that's Super Bowl champion Jalen Milroe, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. But you've got a guy in Keelan Russell who maybe isn't quite what Jalen Milroe was in the run game, but it's still that extra added dynamic and that what if factor for a defense of what if Keelan Russell decides to run this football.
No, and I think we're just getting to a point with quarterbacks here in Alabama. There's nothing that comes to mind that I actually have left to say about Keelan Russell, given I haven't seen him in a meaningful game ever. And there's not much more I can say about Austin Mack, giving that, well, the same kind of stands for him. I'm really happy you chose to keep it brief about Russell. And I'm really happy that week 0 is here and that all of the rest of the conference is named a starter, because I have run out of words to make me sound smart when talking about this quarterback battle. I need some football bad.
We're going to get some games. We're going to get some games.
I'm scratching and clawing right now, bro.
We'll get some games under our belt this weekend. We'll take our last time out for our radio listeners next here on the Deep South College Football Show on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. Got just a couple of moments left here on the Deep South College Football Show, talking SEC quarterbacks here. We moved to Fayetteville, Arkansas, where KJ Jackson was named the starter, and he's a guy that stuck with this team through the transition to Ryan Silverfield, right? And he's been through a lot as a kid, right? He was committed to Dan Enos when Dan Enos was the quarterback's coach, stayed through the Bobby Petrino era at Arkansas, and stayed through the transition from Sam Pittman, literally lost his head coach as a true freshman last season, and ended up sticking through and winning the quarterback job here with Ryan Silverfield. Last season, he appeared in 5 games, has a game of starting experience under his belt against Missouri, completing 33 of 54 passing attempts for 441 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also brings a dynamic dual threat ability to his game with 11 rushes for 52 yards and 2 touchdowns here. In that game against Missouri, he was 11 of 17 for 126 yards and a touchdown with 4 rushes for 14 yards here against the Tigers in the regular season finale last year.
Credit to the young man for sticking it out, fighting through the adversity, winning the job the right way. God help him.
Yeah, Godspeed, soldier. Good luck. North Alabama will be fun. North Alabama will be a fun game. Utah week 2. You open conference play against Georgia. You got to play Texas A&M. You got to play Texas. You got to play LSU in the battle for the boot. Good luck. Good luck, Arkansas. If you hit your win total over, which I think is 3.5 or 4.5, I will. Where's the video? I need the video, but I got to bleep it out, right? I'm going to stick in the mashed potatoes. Go Hogs at that point. But I think he's got a bright future, though. I'm really excited to see what he can do because he is a very, very dynamic player here when it comes to Arkansas. And he's going to add an extra element to this Arkansas offense that they've come accustomed to, right? With Taylor Green the last couple of seasons, that dual threat ability, and they're going to need it. They're going to need it if they want to catch opposing defenses off guard there in Fayetteville. We move to Gainesville, Florida next here with Aaron Philo. And this is somebody that, Whitman, you and I had both said we think Aaron Philo is probably going to win this starting job, right? When it comes to Florida here. He's got experience with offensive coordinator Buster Faulkner. He came in with Faulkner from Georgia Tech. He had a little bit of head start in fall camp, and it was interesting. John Summerall, I think last week, had mentioned that neither guy has a light years type of lead on the other when it comes to Philo and Jones there, but we still kind of were leaning, hey, this is probably going to be Aaron Philo's job just because he's got that familiarity with the offensive system of Buster Faulkner, who came in from Georgia Tech, and he's got some good weapons on that side of the football, right? Dallas Wilson and Eric Singleton at wide receiver, and he could be a top 3 running back in college football, and he'd still only be number 3 in the SEC in Jaden Ball.
Come season start, I mean, week 1 will probably sit in that number 2 spot until Hardy comes back.
This is true. I don't know.
So
Isaac Brown at Louisville is one that I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to this season.
But if you're Florida and you say, all I need is a guy to manage the game, get the ball, just get the keys to the drivers of the really fast cars on the outside or the one right behind me, we'll be okay. As long as Aaron Philo can manage the game, don't do what DJ Lagway did against LSU. They can go without some of the explosives that Lagway did give them and still win a lot of football games because of Jaden Ball, because of Dallas Wilson, because of Eric Singleton, because of the overall level of talent that is going to be on pretty much any old Florida Gators football team. Absolutely right. He's just got to be good enough. You don't need him to be Superman, but can he be Batman? And if he can do that, I think Florida can be in a really good position this season here. We move to Nashville here. Last one here, Blaze Berlowitz at Vanderbilt. He's got experience in college football from New Mexico State. Came into Vanderbilt here and beat out true freshman Jared Curtis, 5-star Jared Curtis, number 1 quarterback in the country, was originally committed to Georgia here. But Blaze Berlowitz beats him out. He's at least going to get the start to start the season. Do you take anything away from that in regard to Jared Curtis? Because as much as we could talk about Blaze Berlowitz, I'm pretty sure we all just kind of understand this dude is the holdover until the Jared Curtis era can fully begin. Is Jared Curtis losing this job? Does that create any doubt in your mind for Mr. Curtis going forward? Is it just too early in his career to tell?
I think it's too early in his career. This is a transition year for Vanderbilt, regardless of whether Blaze finishes out the season as a starter or if Jared Curtis comes in or if Jared Curtis had won the job. This is a transition year for Vanderbilt because of the fact of what Diego Pavia brought to the table. You're losing that. You're losing Eli Stowers as well. So this is something that, Blaze Berlowitz is a good quarterback, but at the same time, kind of the same thing, right? Can he be just good enough, right? Can he be just enough for Vanderbilt to get the ball to some of those playmakers? Because they've still got Junior Sherrill on that offense. They've still got Cedric Alexander. So some good pieces, not to mention the offensive coordinator is returning for another season here. So I don't know. Vandy could be a program that I think could still probably catch some people off guard just because everybody's expecting them to take a step back. But that'll do it for us today on the Deep South College Football Show. Coming up next, the game with Ryan Fowler from 2 until 6 right here on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC. That'll do it for us today on YouTube as well. Big thanks to everybody for checking out the program. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the program. We'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Until then, my name is Wyatt Fulton. Everybody stay safe and God bless.